When the little girl became 13 years old, her parents revealed to her why she had been born. While other sects of their church wished to give birth to their god, or simply live peaceful lives in a pact with God, the sect that the little girl's parents belonged to had other goals. They did not believe that God should be on this wretched earth. At least, not until the unbelievers could be purged. And so they told their daughter that loved them very much that her entire purpose in life was to be drained of her essence, so that they could forge a weapon that would smite whomever or whatever they so desired, to cleanse the world of those that did not believe, to usher in their paradise. And they tormented their daughter that loved them, brought about pain and suffering to her, so that she had no strength left save for her will and her mind. All through it they laughed and were gleeful, even when the daughter wept and sobbed from what they did to her. They said the same thing over and over. Feel the love of God! Feel your ascension into His glory! May the love of God guide you! Finally, they began to drain her blood, the liquid essence of her will, so that the ritual for the weapon could be completed.
Welcome to Top the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a pretty hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazon and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
I am not insane. Talking to people that aren't there is a pretty good sign of insanity. Someone is trying to trick me, trying to make me think I'm insane. Paranoia is another sign of insanity. I am not listening to you. You are not there. Of course I'm not. Delusions. See where I'm going with all of this? I am going to proceed with the review. It will get my mind off of this. You know, you really should kill Pollo. Shut up. He could grow up to be me, after all. Oops. There's that paranoia again. Shut up! Kill him, just like you killed her. Ah! Ah! So, anyway, Silent Hill Dead Alive. This is an unnecessary sequel to an unnecessary story. So, from what I can glean, a mysterious woman named Lenora takes control of Silent Hill, wresting it from the sociopath Lauren. Christabella, the demon child who has no reason to exist at all, has become mortal but inherited Lauren's power to make hellish creatures explode. Actor Ken Carter, while preparing to travel to Vermont to find his missing love, is kidnapped by Lenora and taken to Silent Hill to convince him to become a serial killer. Before they can become Demon Chow, they are rescued by Ike Isaacs, hero of the one-shot story Silent Hill Painted Black. So let's dig into Lovecraftian horror story number 3 and number 4 that has nothing to do with Silent Hill. As before, let's take a look at how the individual issues describe this plot, shall we? Christabella is slowly losing hold on her own inherent evil as her prison of flesh tightens around her. Could have fooled me. On several occasions, she seemed just as psychotic and annoying as before. No indication whatsoever that anything has changed about her nature. And powers that could only have been granted by her missing sister, the former warden and shaper of this haunted town, race through her. Actually, the comic implied that she had powers all along, but couldn't access them because she was dead. Maybe you want to actually read this thing before you type up these summaries. How deeply will Kenneth and Christabella have to travel into the dark labyrinths of their own souls to gain the truth? Knowing this writer, I'm guessing they'll kind of tap their feet inside of that labyrinth and decide it's too cold and wet, and instead spend 20 pages trying to sound philosophical, but instead come off as boringly pretentious. We open to Ike Isaacs cocking his shotgun. Let's party like it's 1999, bitch! This is not what I meant last year when I asked for Silent Hill versus Army of Darkness. I mean, dear God, not only is it a stupid freaking line, it feels like it's trying to be some sort of schlock action movie as opposed to a horror story. To add to that, we have a 2-page spread of Ike shooting his guns and pretending he's Duke Nukem. Come and get some! Yeah! Hooah! Yeah, you like that, biatch? Do ya?
You dirty rat.
The art style seems to have changed too, despite the same artist being on it. Does Christabella look in any way like she has in the previous issues? And seriously, what is with the art? No backgrounds except for some vague silhouettes and drab watercolor paint smeared into the lines, heavy inks that seem random in some places, and scratched in sound effects. This is truly the height of laziness.
You wake up, you think, today won't be anything special.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to convince me that anything we've seen here is particularly special.
Then you find out the only person you really trust has been taken, brought to a place that shouldn't exist, a town where monsters live in the mist, and whatever haunts your thoughts and dreams is real, and can kill you.
Your dreams are very poorly drawn.
And the next thing you know, you're there too, covered in the blood, and God knows what else, of the things you've been fighting. Huh, there's blood splattered everywhere. Ew, I got gum on my shoe! And this beautiful but evil witch with blood-red tears has a little message for you.
Could someone please pass the Visine?
She wants you to accept that you're a psycho killer back in the real world. She shows you things she says are happening there. Your agent finding the woman you've been sleeping with laying in your bed, an axe buried in her face, your bloody confession written on the wall.
You know, I didn't really read it last time, but let's take another look at that, shall we?
Here lies Jessica Aldrich, an annoying little whore who got what she deserves. I am coming! Kenneth with blood on his hands coming. Who's next?
Pardon me for playing lawyer, but I didn't exactly see...
I'm Ken Carter, and I killed her with an axe.
The only possible thing you could get from that was...
Kenneth with blood on his hands.
That's not exactly a signed confession. I love how Scott Cienson can't even keep his bullcrap consistent from issue to issue. We once again see the real protagonist of Dead Alive, and the only likable character, the dog, leading the demon dogs against the hideous abominations.
Bear's posse, the skinned dogs he made as bitches. They're helping us. Behold the power of Bear the Dog! Hallelujah. The stoner lobbying for the NRA is Ike. I used to collect his paintings of Silent Hill. I thought he was some dark genius. Now I realize he was just painting what he saw. In reality, he's as dumb as wet toast. The witch has this big destiny in mind for me. Ike was their first shot at getting the horrors of this place knifed into the nightmares of everyone in the world. My turn next.
Wait, what? Did I turn over 2 pages at once here? I admit I haven't read Painted Black, but the plot summaries I read imply that Ike accidentally got trapped in the town and was killed by some cheerleaders in a ritual so they could escape the town. When did this become some end-of-the-world junk? Furthermore, really? Is that the reason they want to make Ken a serial killer? To get the horrors of this place knifed into the nightmares of everyone in the world? You know, you could have just gotten a crazy person to do it. Or someone who's already a serial killer. Probably would have been a lot easier than all this. Blood splatters onto Christabella, which somehow energizes her again. Here's another dumb question. Christabella is supposed to be some sort of demon in the form of a little girl, right? Then how can she be alive? Is she a little girl possessed, or is she a demonic entity that looks like a little girl? If she's the former, how the hell is blood supposed to help her? If she's the latter, how does she have the supposed inherent demon-exploding power? The energy is enough to let her blow away all the remaining demons, sadly including Bear's posse of devil dogs.
The creatures are ripped apart by her power. Magic isn't supposed to exist. Not really.
Dude, what does magic have to do with anything? Ah! The hell was that? Back in the real world, a police detective is talking with the medical examiner performing the autopsy on Ken's dead girlfriend. Still, Detective Hassel, there's never been anything like this. If it is what it looks like, a big-time Hollywood actor at the top of his game turns serial killer?
Yeah, because actors have never committed murder before.
There's DNA and fingerprint evidence that suggests that Ken did indeed kill the woman, but the examiner says that the axe to the head was done after she was already dead.
Then what killed her?
The best I can say, she was eaten.
Eaten?
Looks pretty damn intact for someone who was eaten. Back in some other region of Silent Hill, the real Connie wakes up naked in a bathtub. I don't know, just roll with it. Along with two nurse demons that call her the Empty Vessel. Yes, you heard me correctly. They're talking. Why, one even starts singing, "Whistle While We Work." We can thank Lenora for this. I thought it'd be entertaining to give them voices. I'm going to assume that this is a case of the writer talking through the character. As such, let me just say, you thought wrong! This is the same damn problem as Christabella, so I'm going to break this down and explain why this isn't scary or entertaining. There are many ways that we assign identity to something. A face, a personality, a voice. All of these things contribute to who a person is, who they are in our minds, and how we see them. But the monsters of Silent Hill, with some very rare exceptions, do not have such identities. They are, quite literally, monsters. While many of them are humanoid in shape, they have no faces, no personalities, no voices. There is nothing human about them. They attack on sight. None of their behavior seems to make any sense. They shamble about for no rhyme or reason. That lack of identity, the lack of anything that we can personify as inherently human, is what makes them so monstrous to us. Let's separate this from even Silent Hill for a moment. Jason Voorhees doesn't talk. He admittedly has something related to a personality, since we see repeatedly that he is motivated by the image of his mother, but he doesn't speak, and his face is usually hidden by a mask. The same thing goes for Michael Myers. Face hidden, no voice. They're menacing because without that identity that we can assign to them, no real humanity that we can put our fingers on, they become less a human being that we are dealing with, but a force of nature. Monstrous and terrible and frightening. Now, of course, there are exceptions to the no-talking thing, like Freddy Krueger, but that's because the kind of fear he's supposed to evoke is different from the kind a Jason Voorhees or a Silent Hill monster is meant to evoke. By granting them voices, suddenly they have personalities, they have identities, they're capable of being reasoned with, and they become less scary. They are supposed to literally be monsters. That's why it's even more horrifying when Vincent gives that revelation in Silent Hill 3.